Hey guys, I was just taking a break from gardening. I'm gonna take my gloves off, and today I want to tell you a little bit about this life transformation from being a big city boy to being a countryside lumberjack. So, there are many reasons why I decided to take this big, huge, life-changing step. Starting off with the ones that are not MS related, which are many, but I'm gonna list them here quickly. The first one being that my mother-in-law had a stroke in July and we had to keep her home in our small 2-bedroom apartment. So from July until March, we were living, the 4 of us together, me, my 2 partners, and my mother-in-law. 2, that, I didn't see the point, with the pandemic thing going on, I didn't see the point anymore in paying huge rent to be living in a small space where there's nothing to do anyway. You can't, it doesn't make sense to live in the city when you can't even go to cafes, restaurants, you can't go out to bars. There's no point, really. And the third one being that, honestly, I have multiple sclerosis, and every single time I went out on the street, walking and crossing the street, I was afraid that I would get killed by traffic, simply because I would have to look to one side, the other side, and that would make me dizzy already just thinking of doing that. And then when crossing the street, I already feel confused, so I'm not completely secure as I step on the crosswalk. So that's already a little bit MS related. So let's dive into the MS related reasons why I think this choice, this transition, was ultimately the best one for my health. So number one being that, well, living in a big city, of course you have that pollution thing that I didn't feel was healthy for me in any way. No one knows what it is that causes MS, but somehow, if you think about it, even just on the surface, I still have a little bit of mold on my face. Pollution cannot be good for your body. So your body is constantly in a battle to purify itself from the pollution, which, I don't know, to me it makes sense that this would somehow disrupt the mechanism of your own autoimmune cleansing, which creates that autoimmune storm that ultimately causes multiple sclerosis attacks or lesions. The second reason being that, well, I feel like this mountain air, this clean air, and this activity that is gardening, that it's really something that I pace myself as I do it. I feel like I'm being active. I feel like there's no pressure to do anything within a certain set time frame. This allows me to find relaxation as I do the gardening. And it's true. I feel so at peace as I'm gardening, and so much so that I feel like it's become a little bit of an addiction. It's compulsive. I can hardly stop myself from gardening. And I feel like that's a healthy habit. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of that habit. And I do this gardening listening, I don't know if you can hear it, but listening to the roosters singing, and then eating vegetables from my garden and eating eggs from the neighbors' chickens. It all feels so much more down to earth, and ultimately, well, I like this connection to earth. It makes me feel more rooted and more in contact with what really matters. And, well, what really matters is really the only one thing we have, which is our own body, our own health. And I want to get to know this body. I want to get to know this health. And as I pace myself through the activities that I do here in the garden, I can really pay attention in a very mindful way, pay attention to what it is that sets off these symptoms, to how my foot responds or doesn't respond when I get tired, and why it does that. Like, I feel like I really have the room, mental space and physical space to really take it all in and understand myself, understand my symptoms. And, you know, this no rush lifestyle helps me digest my symptoms a little bit better. And the third reason, what could the third reason be that I haven't already mentioned? Well, the third reason is that living in a small apartment, I'm famously clumsy, and this is of course something that MS has a say in. So living in a small apartment, I kept bumping into things. I kept bumping things over, making them fall, making them tumble, bumping into people, my own flatmates, my family. And this counts just as much at home as it does on the streets, as I mentioned. Because living in a big city, you go out on the streets, it's full of people. And as you're there walking down the street, struggling to set one foot in front of the other, you have to, at the same time, dodge people that come walking straight towards you. And that was a massive challenge. And I really stopped wanting to put myself through that challenge. The same thing with living in a small apartment. I kept bumping into things. I kept hurting myself. Now I have a massive space to just be as clumsy as I want. Now, the thing that I don't really like about moving off to the countryside is that I don't like feeling that I, as a disabled person, sort of hide myself away from society for society not to look at me. See, that's something that I don't feel so good about, because I felt like I really fought for us with disabilities to have as much room in the daily common metropolitan life as everyone else. There should be room for us. People should be aware that some people may need a little bit more space. And that's why I felt that it was so important that I stayed in the city. Until, well, I had to balance my purpose, my mission, with my well-being. So my well-being turned out to have more weight than my purpose. And I'm not giving up on my purpose. I think that it's still very important to make people out there more aware of us, of people with disabilities, not only people with MS. There's many, thousands of disabilities out there that people should be mindful of. And I still do that by having this YouTube channel, by being involved in the community, by spreading the word, and every little helps, I guess. But for now, and for days to come, I'm gonna enjoy being here in the countryside, having my garden, taking it really one day at a time, and let my symptoms be what they are. They're there. I'm not gonna fight against them. I'm gonna accept them. I'm gonna breathe through every physically demanding activity that I do. And through this massive physical space that I have now, I will find the mental space to accept my symptoms, to understand my symptoms, to listen to them, And I think that'll create more acceptance, understanding, and with this beneficial air that I'm breathing now up in the mountain, hopefully that'll make my health get better. If not, well, then I have the room for it, right? So that was it for me. I wanted to give you guys an update. Since I've been making live videos, I wanted to give you a real update of why I'm here now, why I've decided to put myself through this massive life change. So I hope you guys are well. Take care, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.